Seems like every year there's a new drug scare, a new epidemic. And every time the prohibitionists say, this one is the worst yet.
The scourge of crack cocaine is destroying neighborhoods and perverting families.
25 years ago, crack was destroying America.
Among those paying the heaviest price are the children.
Crack babies, we were told, were unlovable, unteachable, running around like rats. But it turned out it just wasn't true.
Based on our experience, our clinical experience, we really weren't seeing these kind of horrible, sweeping, detrimental effects of prenatal cocaine exposure.
A report in the Journal of the American Medical Association concluded crack babies didn't do any worse than kids born to moms who smoke or drank.
And in terms of the behavior, there also really don't seem to be very many behavioral effects.
The next big drug hysteria grew out of rave parties.
Acid, ecstasy, nitrous, pot.
But it's the ecstasy, little pills like these Greensboro police seized last summer that's blossomed in popularity. Take one, and you've taken what those out on the street call a hit.
Oh no, a hit, we were told, could kill you.
About a drug that can kill you the first time you take it.
Then the hysteria moved on to pain pills.
What makes OxyContin so irresistible?
I found that OxyContin is more addictive than heroin.
And the next so-called epidemic,
its epidemic proportion,
meth.
I have never seen a drug that is as addictive.
But the drug warriors constantly say that.
Probably the worst drug that's out there right now.
So they conduct raids.
45 times each day in the U.S., a methamphetamine lab is busted.
And the news media report their ridiculous claims.
An estimated 1 in 4 teenagers uses meth.
1 in 4 teenagers uses meth. The actual number is closer to 1 in 1,000. Joining me now to talk about the drug war is Reason TV's Nick Gillespie. Let's start with that 1 in 4 crazy statistic. Why would reporters go with that? Why do the cops say things like that?
You know, why the cop? I don't know, because I'm not a cop. I know I'm a journalist, and I know that most journalists are actually pretty stupid, and that they're incredibly credible when you have somebody in a uniform, whether it's a policeman's uniform, whether it's a nurse or a doctor or an expert in a lab coat telling you something. Journalists like to pretend that they push back, but they're actually very deferential to authority, and they take this seriously. On top of that, you know, we all know that sex on drugs sells even more, and that's usually what happens, because kids don't just take meth or ecstasy or LSD or you name it. They do that and then they have sex. That becomes a very sexy story, and journalism likes to sell a lot of copy, and this helps it. And there's a whole machinery in place to kind of push the idea there is a new drug. It's targeting kids. It's targeting the middle class. It's coming to your hometown, and it is exotic.
Magazine covers have terrorized us about the scents, and we have some of them up here, one after the other, and all these new substances are much worse than alcohol. And I think we all have a sense that crack, meth, is not like alcohol. You take it once, you're hooked forever.
Which obviously is not true, because there are many more people who have tried crack or cocaine or methamphetamine or LSD or ecstasy or heroin than there are habitual users. In fact, I mean, when you look at something like methamphetamine, 0.1% of adults in America over the ages of 12, people over the age of 12, say they have tried in the past 30 days. There are, you know, it's clearly not instantly addictive. Law enforcement, for its end, law enforcement, substance abuse counselors, you know, all sorts of social agencies, they have a vested interest in saying, look, we've got a new terrifying problem. We're going to need more resources. We're going to need more help. We're going to need more rules to keep people and to really go after this. We need tanks. We need battering rams. We need whatever.
And if it's a big crisis, they get more money. And I mean, I think they mean well, and they want to protect people. But all these prohibitions have unintended consequences. We have a tape of a couple of them.
Have you tried to buy cold medication lately? One of the more effective decongestants is pseudoephedrine. And because pseudoephedrine can be used to make meth, states have ordered drugstores to restrict its sale, put it behind the counter, and to write down who buys it. Some stores do it voluntarily.
It's hoping the state won't need to intervene if stores like Hy-Vee self-police cold pill sales.
And grandmothers who buy cold medicine for several members of their family better watch out.
I had 7 cop cars come to my house at 10 till 6 in the morning to arrest me and take me to jail.
She was busted for buying too much Sudafed.
She's the Ma Barker of antihistamines, I guess, right? You know, these laws, which went into effect several years ago during the big methamphetamine scare, which was totally overplayed.
Well, isn't meth worse than anything?
You know what? Meth was considered so bad that it was the crack of stimulants, right, or something, which in turn had been the heroin of cocaine, et cetera.
Isn't
you get into
worse?
No. Meth, well, I mean, there's a couple of things. Lots of people use meth or amphetamines legally, such as people in the Army, pilots, certain types of truck drivers, legally. You know, this can be, speed can be, you know, a very effective thing. There are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of school kids who are functioning better because they're using some variant of speed. So these things do have good uses, but then you can clearly see that something has gone seriously wrong with the way that we treat drugs and the way that we treat what are considered illicit substances if you're arresting a grandmother for buying cold medicine for her grandchildren. And that shouldn't take a 7-car, you know, police bus for people to figure that out.
What's the new drug?
Well, the one that I'm, you know, there is always a new drug of choice that's coming to your town that's going to, you know, lock up your sons and daughters. It's going to burn a hole through the heartland. The most recent one in the news just this past week is called K2. It is a fake marijuana. USA Today had a great headline which was bannered, "Cops say fake pot as bad as real thing." This is a substance which authorities warn is unregulated. It's not even illegal. It also doesn't have any actual effects on people, but it's out there and it's going to take your kids, so be careful of it.
Thank you, Nick Gillespie. Coming up, if you own your body, shouldn't you be allowed to rent it out for, say, sex?